Islam is all about the intention. If your intention is good, that's why all of these people, blah, 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 all this talk is just nothing, My intention is good, I should do good. How are you going to know that my intention is good? Is by me doing good, right? So I can't just come and preach you like what other people do. If I do that, what's the point?
Yeah.
You will see how I act. If I am...
I hate dogma, proselytising people who preach. And
Yeah.
It's imposing, it's very coercive. I don't like it at all.
And
it comes from a place of ego.
Exactly.
It doesn't come from a place of truth.
Yeah. And most of the people that does that, in fact, they actually have issues. They want to be in somewhere powerful. They just want to show you that we know more than you. We are stronger than you. That shouldn't be the case.
Exactly, because then it comes from a place of ego.
Exactly.
It's supremacy.
Yeah.
We're right, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Positionalities.
Yeah.
I'm not religious. I don't believe in God in the traditional sense, in the monotheistic sense.
Yeah.
Abrahamic religions, I think, are all man-made. So I come from a secular Christian background.
Okay.
But very early on I thought, this is nonsense. When I was in church I was thinking, what are these people, these grown men, what are they talking about? And I always thought it was very sort of silly, like myths and fairy tales, ancient mythology. And so I sort of moved away from it. But my parents are sort of like, they're nominal Christians, if you like. They say they're Christians, but they don't necessarily practice, they don't attend church, they don't pray. I mean, I really question them on it. I don't think they truly in their hearts believe in God. They just say they're Christian, Church of England for the sake of it. But very early on I moved away from it. I do like spirituality. I like the Eastern traditions, Eastern philosophies, Buddhism, Taoism, Zen Buddhism, even Hinduism, Advaita teachings, non-duality. But I think monotheistic religion, the three, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, I think they are man-made. I think they're not true. That's the issue I have with it. I think those books are not true. They're written by men. So the God claim is not true. That's the issue I take with it.
I respect your views, as I said, and I'm not here to impose anything.
You're going to kill me, are you?
Do you think Jesus might have travelled to the East and studied Buddhism or Hinduism?
I think so. That's a very good question. I think he probably... I don't think he ever went to India, did he? I don't know a lot about Jesus'
There's
biography.
many missing years in the Bible. We know about when he's a child, and then the next minute he's 30 years old. Some people say in those missing years maybe he travelled to the East, and this is where he got
enlightened.
some of his philosophy. I
think Jesus was an enlightened being, I think he was transcendent. He realised the ego is illusory, the self is an illusion. He was a real prophet.
Some people say that...
But often they get the people throughout history, these people who become enlightened, they're seen as heretics. It's blasphemy, and they get crucified. There's a Sufi mystic, I can forget his name, Al-Mansur or something. He said, I am God, or something like, I am not separate from God. Like, in the same way Jesus says, I'm the Son of God. He doesn't mean I'm literally the Son of God. We are all godliness, in the Buddhist sense of the word. I forget the name of the Sufi mystic. He had his tongue cut out, his eyes gouged out, hands and feet cut off, left out in the desert. Al-Mansur or something, Sufi mystic. Because he realised non-duality. He said, we are not separate from God, we are God. The universe is
again,
one.
I think it's all understanding. Because some people say we all have attributes from God, We all have, we should have some of what God's attributes, which is, being merciful, being kind, we Muslims believe in the 99 names, and each name has a meaning, and sort of those meanings has to imply to us and how we act towards other people. Some even hate that. Muslims, all of them, might not agree on that. Some say, no, you can't say we have, the attributions of God or something of God is in us, or, everybody has their own kind of understanding. Some understand it literally and follow the book literally. Some are more spiritual. Some, it's just like...
The issue I take up with that is that it was my understanding that Islam is, the Quran is supposed to be the perfect word of God.
It should be if you understand it correctly, because then it's also linguistic behind it, and the Arabic language.
So it doesn't translate well into. So I've read an English version of the Quran.
I know. I've read the translation, and I was like, oh my God, okay, I can understand why so many people don't understand it. And Arabic.
Just to kill the kappa for out. I'm in trouble here.
And even in Arabic, the meaning could be, so there are some meanings when you understand the grammar, the linguistic of it, it actually makes sense. And some just say it for the fact of just reading it out loud and follow it just like this. And it shouldn't be like this. So it's just like any other...
So the Quran is not literal to you? You don't take it literally?
No, it's not literal.
But you believe it's the perfect word of the creator of the universe.
I do
Allah.
believe so, yeah.
Muhammad is
I
the
do
final
believe
prophet.
so if you understand it well. Like just like any other subject, if you want to go and learn science, you can't just read a book and just think you become a scientist already. You know, you know everything. You will need a teacher to teach you, but then you also have to know who is the teacher that's going to teach you. What's their understanding?
Their agenda.
Yeah, and how.
Lots of charlatans out there, lots of narcissists. There's a lot of them over there.
Yeah, how well the Arabic is, how well, because it all makes a huge difference on how you understand it. So to me, I can hear somebody for 2 minutes and I know that, no, this is not for me, and I walk away. And I don't want them to affect my religion. I don't want other Muslims to affect my religion because it upsets me the way they talk about it or the way they present it. And,
Can you be spiritual without being religious then? Do you separate the two? I certainly do.
I think so, yeah. I don't see the problem. And I think spiritually, if you are connected, you do a lot of things naturally, I mean...
How you treat others, how you treat animals.
No, they shouldn't.
Don't you being loving and compassionate, kind, tolerant?
I think Islam is peace.
Empathic.
And if you come next to me and you feel peace, I would be happy that you said, that you are a peaceful person. Because if I pass that to you without me saying anything, then I'm happy. Then I know that I'm spiritually connected to God and I'm a peaceful person. I don't want to hurt anybody, and I respect your views, I respect mine, and only God can judge however, does right or wrong, I don't know.
If God didn't exist, if it was man-made, if religion was stories, psychological stories, the claims in it were not actually true, would you want to know? If God didn't exist, there is no Allah.
I wouldn't be upset. Do you know why? Because it's just like it's like an insurance. When you insure your house, you read the rules. If something happened, then you are insured. If it didn't, nothing happens. Do you know what I mean? Like if God didn't exist, and none of this was real, in the end, what was I doing in my life here? I was doing everything good. I didn't hurt people. I didn't steal. I didn't do any bad deeds. And to me, Islam works for me because it actually taught me how to discipline myself. So I feel like it's sort of a guide, a guide to me, a book, a guidance that I can follow. If I follow it right, again, because some people take it the wrong way, if I follow it right, I feel like there is no harm on me believing all of that. And if it's not true, I didn't lose anything. There isn't anything that I've stopped.
You seem quite intelligent. I'm sure you could be disciplined and respectful.
Of course, yeah.
Without a religious dogma.
Yeah.
I think I'm that way, but I don't believe in God.
Yeah.
I think I'm a normal human being.
Yeah.
I treat people well.
Well, I
I'm
can see that.
reflective,
You speak to me with respect. That's why I can speak to you as well. But as I said,
So am I evidence
nothing
you
for
don't
me
need?
to lose.
Am I evidence you don't need religion?
Maybe you don't need it. To me, it's spiritual. I feel it.
So without religion, would you be like a lunatic, a maniac, some crack or
the difference between me and you is that I was born Muslim, so I can't really say that. I'm not in your place to say how it feels.
That's all you've ever known.
People will say that
I'm imposing, I'm sort of infringing on your space.
Some people will say your morals came to us through God, through the teachings, and it got embedded in your culture. You're from a Christian background. Although you don't believe it anymore, your family are Christian and they got their morals from the Bible.
Yeah, they've not read the Bible, my parents. They don't read the Bible.
But their ancestors did. The culture has been shaped
my moral
by
code comes from Judeo-Christian philosophy, maybe. But I don't know. I think it comes from being. It comes down to consciousness and awareness and insight and being reflective.
But that's the thing about Islam.
I'm my own internal compass, if you like.
the fitra.
Well, that's what I think. I think.
What does that word mean?
Fitra is nature, isn't it? Okay, so what it means?
You explain it.
I thought he said fatwa then. I thought I was in trouble.
Fitra is the Arabic
I thought someone's going to
word.
pull out a machete. I kill you now.
Fitra is Arabic word, which means nature. And I think if Islam made sense to you, and it's naturally what you think it's right, that is the right Islam. If you think it's wrong, then that is not the right Islam. Islam should be the way you think this is how life works.
One of the biggest issues I have with Islam, I have a lot of issues with Islam. I mean, I've been around it a bit, I've been around Muslims a bit. I've been threatened by Muslims, harassed by Muslims, intimidated by Muslims. They've been violent
So you have
towards me.
problems with Muslims, not Islam.
No, because Muslims are people, Islam is an ideology. I try not to attack people because we're all human beings, but I think I don't like Islam as an ideology, as a religious and political ideology. Because for me, it's a totalitarian ideology. It removes individual freedom. That's why I think it's very threatening. But I think there's far too much violence in the Quran. I read the Quran. It's disproportionately violent. it really does not like the kafar, the infidel, the person who does not have that belief. Lots of condemnation towards the kafar.
Well, you need to understand what the words mean as well. Even
well, listen, I speak one language. I know speak one language, and I read a translation by an Indian imam, and I just read. And
I'm inviting you to come and learn Arabic because of my Arabic lessons when I lunch. Some lessons.
No, I was going to go to night school and study Arabic. So I think it's a lovely language. It's very mellifluous.
Yeah.
I was going to do night school Arabic. Learn it.
I do run classes for adults, so I'm inviting you to attend my lessons as well. It's very friendly, calm environment.
So you teach Arabic?
Yes, I do.
I'll take you up on it, because I was going to do it over in Hammersmith. I found a school in Hammersmith.
Okay.
Knightsbridge, sorry.
I do. I taught Arabic before. Julian attended my classes as well before. Maybe he
I know a
can tell
few
you
words.
bit more about
Inshallah, Bismillah, Inshallah, Mashallah.
Well, you know all the words that link to Islam. But kufr means it's whoever knew the truth
Conceals
and
the
hid
truth.
it.
Yeah.
So you won't be kafir until you actually seen the truth and then decided to say, no, this is not cover.
So cover comes from the same word as
Deception.
cover.
Yeah. So
What does taqiyya mean?
what's that?
Taqiyya.
Taqiyya. Taqiyya, tuqa means it's, I think, purify, you purify yourself. It's a level of where you reach, like
But-
taqwa.
Taqiyya, the word you're talking about,
lie
is
to the
when people
kafar.
lie and hide their religion.
You're talking about another word then.
But yes, taqiyya is a word that Shia Muslims tend to
Okay.
practice
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
okay,
know
that's
that.
more than Sunni.
And we
Or
talk
they
about two
accept
different
it.
words.
I thought it meant lie to the kafar to propagate Islam.
Yes,
That's
No.
what
that's what the
lie to
common
the naive.
understanding is. I think.
Lie to the naive.
If someone
kafar
puts a gun to your head and says, "Oh, you're Muslim," you can say no to
survive.
save your life.
Yeah, okay.
For example, and it's something more prevalent in Shia Islam than in Sunni Islam. Sunnis say it's not practicing. This is my understanding. Perhaps
Yeah, he's
because the Shia are in the minority,
I don't know that
and for
word.
many years they had to say, "Oh yeah, we're Sunni," in order to get by.
To survive.
Because they've been
Yeah.
oppressed by the Sunnis.
Is that? That's
Yeah,
what
you're
that
Sunni
word
or
means in
Shia?
that context.
But you don't have that denomination.
Okay, so I think
She's doing
Islam
taqiyya now.
came.
She's going to do taqiyya
Do you
now.
have a gun? It depends. No. I
Tell
feel
the truth.
and again, with my understanding of the Quran came with the teaching of the Prophet. So the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam teach us some of the things that were, there, but we need more explanation. So I think that's where the Sunnah comes. But again, I have friends that were Shia, Sunni, and we hardly even talk about this. I think the only
Don't
place
make
I
the
see
division.
this is here, which really upsets me because it really defines people.
But for the layman, Shimon the layman, you are a Sunni, yes? Sunni Muslim.
Yeah, that would
Because the Shia are in the minority, it's only like 11% of the world is Shia. I like the Sufis, man. I thought we should be Sufis, whirling dervishes.
The Sufis are the coolest friends of mine so far. I mean, a lot of people say to me that I'm Sufi. Again, I don't label myself as Sufi. I don't label myself as anything apart from, Muslim. But I think why they say that I'm Sufi because, and Sufism, you call people Sufism. They shouldn't say to you that I'm Sufi. You call them Sufi because you feel that they're on another level than other people.
Yeah. Again, yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes about ego again. I'm
Yeah.
Sufi, or labels,
Yeah.
position. Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Sufi mysticism. I like mysticism, I like spirituality.
I'll tell you about a place to come where you're going to meet lots of Sufis there, and they're really cool, Muslims, intelligent, open-minded, and none of this happens there. It's called Rumi's Cave. Check it out. It's in Kilburn. They do have
Rumi's Cave.
Rumi's Cave, yeah. It's really nice atmosphere there. You see a lot of people who are Muslims, non-Muslims, it's open, and it's open for everybody. Not just you have to be Muslim to go to Islam. And whoever went there who are not Muslim, anything, Jews, anything, they always felt welcome. They saw what they really said was true Islam. Where you don't have to say anything. You can just be you.
I remember there's a chap called Bill Warner, who's a sort of a Western scholar of Islam, and he says he came to Islam through Sufism, and he loved that mystical dimension to it.
Yeah.
He said there was, this is his words, not mine, but he said And there's almost always a bad smell coming from the basement. And in the basement they're hiding the jihad. So Sufism is like a crystal palace.
Yeah.
But in the basement with the jihad, the Allahu Akbar,
Islam shouldn't be forced, shouldn't be fighting, shouldn't be arguing, shouldn't be any of this. This is me and this is
I know
think
that's your view. You seem like a very morally conscious person, but for me, Islam is very coercive, very dogmatic,
because of what
very
you've seen.
forceful.
Because of what you've seen, honestly.
From what I've experienced in my personal life, here, out there in the world, I've had to report a few people.
And allow me to say that now, you only show what Islam is by how you act, you know? So to you, you've seen this.
It's a shame not more Muslims are like you.
If all Muslims were kind and present, you know, they just minded their own business, I think more people would have a better idea about Islam rather than what you had. And I'm sorry on behalf of every Muslim that attacked you that way. It shouldn't be that way.
So what you see here, do you feel a bit disheartened by it? Do you find it
I'm
quite
upset.
soul
I'm
destroying?
upset. That's not how we should come across as Muslims.
Because you know it comes across as like one big gang, one big violent gang. Islam is like one big violent cult.
It shouldn't be like this. And it upsets me, and that's why I refuse most of the time to come here, you know? I feel like this is not my place. These are not my people. That shouldn't be done that way. But I'm glad I came here
It's lovely to see.
today. So
Very
at
nice
least
person.
You've seen something different than what you've seen here.
No, I realise that's the thing, isn't it? You have to separate Muslims from Islam, people from ideas. You can attack a bad idea because it's an abstract thing, but attacking individuals becomes hateful, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And it's hard to hate people close up. I mean, even some of these boys here, little gangsters, aren't they? When you get up close, you think, oh, I can't hate this person because he's a human being.
Yeah.
And at one point in his life, he was a little child.
Yeah. You hate the action. You don't hate the people.
Yeah, exactly. So separate people from behaviour.
Yes,
I think that's a Christian maxim. Love the sinner, hate the sin.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
so you can hate the
and we have that in
behaviour.
Islam. You hate the behavior. You don't hate the person because it affects them where they were growing up, their experiences, their backgrounds. You know, God knows what each individual has been through. Some of them have all these issues in life, and they come here because they want to be strong and you know the truth and all of that.
Deep down, our core essence of being a human being, we all share that.
Yes.
That's what connects all of us. That's non-duality. That's the mystical teaching. That's Eastern stuff, isn't it? Buddhist, the Taoists.
Have you watched any Alan Watts?
Alan Watts, love him.
He's a Christian who became a Buddhist, who eventually sort of did away with labels.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I'll listen to his stuff in tears, man. They put little snippets of his old audios to like really nice music on YouTube. Beautiful stuff, man.
And you know, with
People don't know that. People don't know that is the nature of reality. They're stuck in dogma and rigid sort of rituals. Well, religion, that's why I don't like religion. I love spirituality all the time in the world. Religion, I think it's dead. It's done. It's over. Science has done a very good job of applying religion out of the water.
But you see, even Quran, Allah said, you know, those who feel Him, who are the scientific people that learn science, because they can understand the relation between the creation and all of that. But again, the language is a big barrier between a lot of Muslims that practice it the wrong way. You know?
So to learn Islam or to know about it, I have to learn Arabic.
And you have to be surrounded by good Muslims.
Well, I can go to scripture, can't I? I can learn Arabic, then
you
read
can,
the scripture.
learn Arabic, read it, and listen to those who really understand the language, you know? All these people, groups, none of that.
Yeah, man, I've been around them, man. Honestly, they were a bit violent, a bit spicy for me. The Pakistanis. You need to accept Islam into your life, white man. You need to accept it in time to accept Muhammad.
No. I mean, the Quran says, "Lakum dinakum waliyadin." You have your religion, you have your belief, I have mine. This is it. Done. You know?
At this point here, I don't have a religion. So you try and convert me to yours.
No, it's your choice. It's your choice. You live your life as you want. I live my life. In the end, I will be judged by myself. You might not believe in judgment anyway.
Yeah, I don't believe.
Why should I even talk about it if you don't believe in it? Do you know what I mean? So,
for me, it's about accessing truth, or getting as close to truth as possible, or eliminating what's not true. And I think monotheistic religion is not true. It's not real. It's stories.
yeah.
It's completely unsubstantiated.
Do you find more truth in Buddhism?
Yeah. experiential, like the nature of reality. I mean, I need to meditate more. I've done a few psychedelic drugs, and I've experienced that ego dissolution up to a certain point. But I think the nature of reality is the Eastern philosophies blended with Western science. So I think what we're observing now in Western science is aligning with Eastern traditions. And I think religion, monotheistic religion, is dead.
What you find in meditation, maybe someone else finds in the prayer. Maybe that's our nature.
Chanting,
to want
prayer,
to do something like that.
I do feel like there is a connection between Buddhism and Islam. That's my personal just thoughts.
Well, Sufism, that's the connection.
I feel like I'm sure there is a connection because I don't have names, but a friend of mine was telling me that Buddhism, they got to a stage where they know, if you count your fingers, something like this, you touch your fingers, and if you say a certain tone, you reach that level of harmony, and we do that as well, where we do the tasbih and calling Allah's name, all of that. So there is a lot of similarities between Buddhism and, as you said, Sufism, or Muslims that practice that way. And to me, I feel like because I think that God have sent messengers around the world. Sometimes I think of it like this, that there might have been a messenger once there. They still have some of it in there, and it links to Islam in a way. But that's my personal views. I don't have any evidence to tell
There's
you.
nothing to say that Buddha was not a prophet. It's just not mentioned by name, right?
I don't.
It's the God claim, though, isn't it? I'm not convinced by the God claim.
And
the
Buddhists
God claim is not
focus
true.
less on that.
Well, there is no deity. It's non-duality. There's no dualistic God. There is no separation. There is no entity, a man in the sky who cares about you, who's going to judge on your death. There is just existence, and you can experience that through losing your ego. That's what Buddha said. You are not self. You are not yourself. That ego that you think is you, deep down, doesn't really exist.
Ego would be the equivalent to nafs.
Or hell in Christianity. Hell is the ego.
Nafs means the self, or hell is Christianity.
I think that's if you could, the Holy Trinity. If you use that metaphor for Buddhism, heaven is enlightenment, hell is the ego.
Wow.
I think.
And we do believe that if anybody has that, sense of ego, they won't have a chance even to smell what heaven is like. And I think Islam works for a lot of people in a way, when it can be harsh sometimes because they need that discipline. I might not need it, but some other people might need it. It might stop a lot of people, like give them that rules and that guidance, and then I don't know. Maybe it's human nature that they need that in a way to follow something. Like a government, the government set rules, and by those rules we have to follow it. For us to have this harmony, this. Like this life that we live in now, where we can't steal, we can't do this, we know that there's a consequences for every action we take. So the government have set those rules for us to have this peaceful life. And to me, that's how I look into religion. I feel like it set the rules when it needed to be back in the days for people to follow it and to live peacefully.
I agree with that entirely, but then there's the added claim of it coming from the creator of the universe, isn't it? I understand we need rules and regulations for people to behave, and a law and a legal system, and justice, etc., etc. We have to have a code of conduct.
Yes.
But the claim that it comes from the creator of the universe, which is billions of years old and billions of light years across, contains billions of galaxies and billions of stars.
That's where it comes.
That bit's not true for me.
Well, that I cannot put it in you because that's there. If it happens to be, you'll feel it, and that's what I feel, and that's why I believe in my religion, because I sense it. I feel that God is doing so many things for me, watching me. I feel that link between us. So that's why, to me, none of this. I can't tell you any of this. I feel it. It's personal.
But it's self-evident. It's self-evident.
Yes, exactly.
But I'd be curious though, if a religious person, if God didn't exist, would they want to know? Because for me, too many religious people are, I would say, deluded a bit. It's very emotional, their beliefs, and there's a huge emotional investment in it, and they feel like they couldn't, without it, it's their identity. Without it, they would suffer immensely. Especially Islam, because Islam is all-consuming.
I think it's all personal, to be honest. It's all personal. You don't just need religion. Religion have taught us you need education, you need this, you need that. So that's why those who only have religion, they're lacking so many things. So, in order for them to be in good terms with their religion, they need to have education. And some completely ignore that, you know. They think they need to just do all the sunan, all the extras, and forget about education when education is a must.
But then if your education is in conflict with your religious belief system, your God belief, then what do you do there? Because that's what happened with me, is I was, when I was sort of umming and ahhing about Christianity and science, I read a book about evolution, natural selection, the gradualistic process of natural selection, and I realised how life evolved on planet Earth. And I realised that, it's a bottom-up process rather than being top-down. I thought I realised that evolution is reality. It's a very watertight theory, and we are advanced African apes. We are hominid apes, Homo sapiens. But I thought, how does it happen? It seemed like a conscious process, and I thought God must be overseeing it, supervising natural selection. But then I read a book which made me realise that there was a technical error, a flaw in my thinking, where it's not top-down, it's not controlled by a deity or an entity, it's bottom-up. So genetic mutations, which leads to change over time, etc., which produces more complexity and diversity in life. And when I really understood evolution, the penny literally dropped, and at that moment there I knew religion was not true. Monotheistic religion was not true, the God claim was not true.
Not literally true.
Not literally true. It's metaphorical, there are messages in it, but there's a psychological story, archetypal stories, but religion is not true. The Quran, the Torah, the Bible, the Quran are books written by men, and the claims in them are not true. So then I let it all go.
A book have changed your views. More books might add more to your views.
Well, I did read the Quran. I did read the Quran.
I'd say maybe you read it in a different way next time.
So I liked an Arabic. I wasn't joking about that. I was going to sign up to an Arabic school, not a night school, to learn Arabic. So
I'll tell you where to find me, and I run classes in East Acton. That's anywhere.
I live in Hammersmith.
Okay, perfect. It's not going to be far.
Yeah, and I work in Chiswick, so.
I'll give you the